Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today we're going to make some homemade Worcestershire sauce. So let's get to it. Now let me explain what happened. My son brought home some clams and some cream cheese saying they were for me. So obviously what he was wanting was for me to make clam dip because it's one of his very favorite things. Now for us, I love clam dip, but because I'm trying to go more for the clean eating, that recipe can also be, you can substitute the clams with something like salmon or some other type of seafood, or maybe something else if you would prefer. And so when I make some for ourselves, I'm going to try that next time. But first, I have to have the Worcestershire sauce to make the clam dip, and I'm all out. And it's been a long time since I've made it, so it's a good excuse to get busy and get this made. Now, I'm sure this is going to be very different than the last recipe I made since it was so long ago that I made it, and I don't remember how I did it. But I did a little research, looked up Worcestershire sauce, looked up the ingredients, and looked up a few other homemade recipes. So I decided what I'm going to do is stick with a basic, more close to the original recipe for the Worcestershire brand sauce, and then with a little bit of tweaking of my own. So what we're going to start with is 1/2 cup of balsamic vinegar, and I got this 1 gallon for a really good deal on Amazon, and it does come from Italy, but the question is whether or not it's truly balsamic vinegar, because even though it comes from Italy, balsamic vinegar can only be made from specific grapes grown in a certain part of Italy, and it has to be aged for at least 12 years. So, and up to 100. And then I'm going to use 1/2 cup of my own homemade vinegar, and today I'm going to use blackberry vinegar. And so that's going to bring me up to 1 cup of vinegar. Now I'm going to give you some other options you can use. You can use apple cider vinegar or any other type of homemade vinegar, or even the Bragg's apple cider vinegar is great. Now as far as spices go, I'll give you some more options when we get to that. Now the other thing, and this is something I really rarely use, and I've had this one for a while, and I don't know that much about this. I know it just says anchovy extract, water, and salt. So it's just 3 ingredients, and so I feel pretty good about that. But if anybody knows of a better brand of fish sauce that might be better than this, let me know in comments below. But out of this, I'm going to use 1/4 cup of the fish sauce. So let me take the lid off. Some people even like to use this in their kimchi. For me, I've never actually tried making kimchi with... Oh, I can't take the lid off. Okay, whatever. I've never tried making kimchi with fish sauce. Maybe I'll try it someday out of curiosity to see how it tastes, because I know that is a common way it's made. So I'm just going to pour it in this way until I get up to 1¼ cups. I got 1/4 cup of the fish sauce. Now, since the fish sauce is salty, you may want to decide whether or not you even want to add more salt to this. I'm going to taste it after I get all the other ingredients in it, and then I'll decide then. So the next thing I'm going to add is the juice from 1 lime. Okay, I squirted myself in the eye with the lime juice. So then I want about 1/4 cup of molasses. Now you could choose to use honey or brown sugar, like a good organic brown sugar, or organic other type of cane sugar, or even coconut sugar. But the original recipe for the store-bought brand uses molasses, so I'm going to stick to the molasses for this. So since there's 4 tablespoons and 1/4 cup, I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons. Roughly. You can see I'm not measuring it out perfect. But honey would also be a good option. But I think your molasses is going to give you, because it does have a very distinct flavor, it's going to get you closer to the taste you may want when you're thinking Worcestershire sauce. we'll start stirring that in. I find it easier to mix stuff like this in a measuring cup because I'm going to be pouring it into something else when I'm done. Okay, so from here, your measurements and your spices can be whatever you choose. I would say at least make sure you get in some type of pepper, some garlic, and some onion. And today I'm going to use turmeric. Tamarind is another common spice used in Worcestershire sauce, but I don't have any of that, so I'm using the turmeric. And I forgot to turn on my little white LED lights that just make it cheerier in here. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of each of the garlic. That was actually the onion. The garlic and the onion. There's the garlic. And then I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of black pepper. You may want to go a little less than that, but since we really like black pepper here, black and red pepper, I'm going to put in a whole tablespoon. Mix that in. And then another thing is cloves. Typically you might want to go a quarter of a teaspoon. I'm going to go a whole teaspoon on that, which in my hand looks about like that. I love cloves. And since I really try to avoid having my hands stained gold for 2 days straight, I'm going to go ahead and use a spoon for this one. I'm going to put a heaping teaspoon of the turmeric in here. Now that I've taken a taste test, I've decided it does not need any more salt. So make sure if you're using the fish sauce, or some recipes may say soy sauce or something like that, always make sure that you taste test it before adding the salt. So that should be the last thing. So this I'm going to omit, and this tastes really good just as is. Now, if you saw my video about save those bottles, remember this was the first bottle of balsamic vinegar I bought before I bought the whole gallon. And this bottle is what it came, that's where this bottle came from anyway. This is what I'm going to use to store my sauce in. It's perfect. So I just need my small stainless steel funnel, and I bought these in a set of 3. I love the stainless steel, and I will link to these below if you're interested in those. And they're just, this is the biggest one actually, so I've got 3 different sizes to work with, and I just love them because they're perfect for all the different things I need to fill. So we'll just go ahead and pour that in there. And what I recommend is that you let this sit for a while before you actually use it. So you give those herbs, like I would say even anywhere from at least a day to up to a month before you use it. I'm obviously going to have to use it sooner than that because I got the request for the clam dip, and I need this for that. You know, make sure you shake it up really good before you use it every time to get those spices really well shaken up in there. The longer you let it sit, the more the spices will infuse into the vinegar and just make an even better flavor. So letting it age a bit really is going to help. And because of the vinegar content, I would not think you need to store it in the refrigerator. But that's up to you, whatever you feel safest with. So there you go, a really easy and frugal way to make your own Worcestershire sauce. Hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching, take care, and God bless.